Now, these guys have 43 Vajir marksmen available for battle, and let me just say, I'm not a big fan of those guys, because they have been extremely damaging to us. Hello Reformers, and welcome back to Warband Native. And when we left off, we were actually attempting to take Selesga Castle, and well, I got eliminated at the very end because of various archers. Yeah, as we know, the archers can be extremely difficult. Anyway, I'm gonna actually just level up a couple of my units here before we head in, and yeah, we're gonna, I think, just do some auto-resolving, and usually this is not something that I tend to do generally, just because I personally feel like it's, well, suffice it to say, a little bit unnecessary when it comes to receiving casualties and causing allied casualties in general. But I feel like there's only 32 of them, and it's easy enough, you know, we don't have to go in there and, you know, ascend the very menacing ladders and all that sort of thing. So we could just tell our units to go in here and... yeah, that's exactly what I mean. It's kind of a bit half and half. On the one hand, you're saving a whole bunch of time and effort, and on the other hand, you're losing units. Now, I'm hopeful that I didn't lose my units and that we actually used a number of our vassals' units. So yeah, hopefully that's going to be the case. Otherwise, I'm actually just gonna take this guy prisoner. Why not? Why not? Anyway, let's have a look here. Yeah, it seems like I did actually use my units in that. Did I? It seems like it, doesn't it? Wow, that's not particularly good. That's not particularly good. Okay, I'm kind of a bit disappointed by that, but I guess if I didn't want to go in there against those marksmen again, that was the only option that I had, which was kind of sad, wasn't it? Anyway, let's just continue to take a couple of people here. I'm actually just going to take the Rhodoks as well, even though technically I really shouldn't be using these units due to the rule that I created earlier on in the series, but I don't know. Personally, I feel like the Rhodoks, I think they're great. I think they're very, very good units, and it would be nice to be able to... I could just take all of them, actually. I can just take all of these prisoners. And it would be nice to just have some of those Rhodoks with us, because they are decent defensive units, and I think they're just really good. Anyway, let's see. Alright, so who are we going to give this to? I actually don't know. Lord Murchaud, I guess? No, he's fine. Okay, so Lord Druli and Akadan, we got to keep those guys in mind by the looks of things. Okay, so let's wait here for some time. And who's that? Did you see that? Was that a Rhodok vassal over there? Obviously, I couldn't see who he was when we were constructing the ladders, but wow, if that was a Rhodok vassal, then he's very far from home, but I guess he means to do the Vajirs a little bit of harm, doesn't he? Yeah, he certainly does. Anyway, there you go. That was easy enough for us. And I'm just going to continue to level up units. And now, this is usually what happens, actually, whenever I go to fight and besiege something. What? How was that taken? I have no idea. My vassals have been right here, but maybe it was taken before the previous episode. Well, that's crazy. I have no idea. I really have no idea. Okay, so that means, if we take a look here, that means there's only 2 castles left and 1 town. But bear in mind that that's going to take a long time, because these guys, they have huge amount... Oh, there's King Yaroghlek. Shall we do battle with him? We could actually do battle with him. I have 97% HP. Is my horse okay? Yeah, my horse is okay. I don't have that much food. Okay, let's do this. Let's go. Okay, come on, King Yaroghlek. I'm going to wait until all my guys are nearby so that they can all help me out here. There we go. Oh yes, we meet again, King Barney. Yes, exactly. We do meet again. Hello. It's a small world. It is a small world. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so we've actually gotten a pretty sizable advantage. 651 against the enemy's 341. And yeah, I think we're pretty good. I don't think we can have any problems here. I don't think so, at least. I mean, there's a river in the center of this battlefield. Pretty crazy in itself. And what's actually... okay. I was actually thinking to myself, oh, the battle size is really low, because obviously I've been playing other mods and they all have different battle sizes, and I think that's actually the case. Well, this is actually kind of weird, because you know what I've done? I actually entered this battle with a total battle size of 87. Yes, that is not particularly good, is it? I mean, obviously the battle size is modifiable dependent on your system specifications. You know, sometimes you're not going to have the hardware available to play with, you know, higher amounts of units on the battlefield. And goodness knows, I certainly don't have the ability to play with, I don't know, 500 units on the battlefield. I think maybe even 400, maybe even 300 at once will cause some kind of stutter on my system. So that is obviously not great. But, yeah, I did actually now increase it to 150, which is obviously the default for native. And yeah, it doesn't seem like they have spawned any additional units in here, which is kind of weird. I was actually half thinking that they would spawn some more units in and it would say, oh, new enemies have arrived and reinforcements and so on and so forth, but it seems like maybe we're just going to have to deal with the current situation here, which is not exactly great, but I guess it's a smaller skirmish, I guess. You know, smaller skirmishes can be extremely fun, and I'm actually liking this quite a bit because it does give me the opportunity to not so much as practice my my mounted combat, but it gives me an opportunity to sort of polish up on it, because generally whenever I'm actually running around and you know, actually attempting to kill some people, it is usually not the best situation to be in. You know, most of the time I'm gonna have archers firing at my face, and it's not going to be a very pleasant experience, and usually, you know, I'm going to get killed as a result of that. So maybe we won't get killed this time around, and bear in mind that in native you definitely need to stay alive. That is one of the most important things in sort of, shall we say, longer drawn out battles, because if you're in my situation right now where we are up against an enemy, a lord of sizable force, then you're not really gonna be in a great spot if you die and then you have to send your units in by themselves, or you have to be limping around the battlefield yourself. That's not really gonna be a very good thing. But, well, thankfully we're actually doing pretty reasonably here, and yeah, there you go, we're actually able to eliminate. Yeah, it seems like it doesn't update in real time in native whenever you change the battle size, so my bad. Anyway, in this next round we are going to get many more units. As you can see, we now have, wow, many more units on our side and 42 on the enemy's side, so that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Alright, so let's get to the other side of the river. Actually, I don't really want to... Wait a minute, should we just wait? I think we're too close to the river to really wait for the enemies to come across, because as you can see, they're taking their sweet time to get over here, let alone getting across the river. So we're just gonna tell everyone to move over here. And you know what I really wish? I really wish that this battle map, this display, I guess you could say, of how many units you have, I wish that would actually display how many units you have under your total command, as well as the units that you have in your army specifically. Because obviously, at the moment, I'm in command of basically every single unit that our vassals have, and every single unit that I have available. And it's not telling me exactly what I have, you know? So I can take a look around and I can see, hey, you know, I've got some, I've got some cavalry here, and I've got some infantry, but it's not giving me precise numbers of those things. And so it would be really cool at some point, maybe, to see a bit of an updated readout, I guess. I don't exactly know whether this is doable with mods or anything like that. I doubt it would be, probably because it's built into the base game's code. But, well, if it is doable, then obviously a modder is going to be able to accomplish it, because the modding community is absolutely fantastic surrounding this game. And I've always said, you know, it's great to support your modding community, especially considering how much longevity this game has as a result of mods. And you can do anything. You can do anything with mods. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. If you just like the native experience, you can literally just go and download Flores, or you can download Native Expansion, or you can download, you know, anything that is set in Calradia with a slight twist. Even Fantasy Calradia you can do, because it's set in Calradia. It's just got a little bit of a flourish to it, you know. It's got fantasy elements and orcs and magic and all that sort of wonderful stuff. But anyway, I'm getting a little bit off track here. As I said, it's just something that would make tactical decisions so much easier, because right now you can see here that I have 3 infantry. No, I don't. I don't have 3 infantry available. Yes, in my own army, I certainly have 3 infantry available on the battlefield, but the other units, not so much. They're of course under my command, but unfortunately I'm not able to see exactly what I have available here. So you can see I have 5 archers. No, I don't. I don't have 5 archers. I have many more archers under my command. So yeah, that's definitely something that may need to be looked at in future, and I'm talking about future iterations of certain games, and also I'm talking about maybe mods. I think maybe some mods might already do that, but I think it's such a minor thing that a lot of people don't really invest the time into it, and I completely understand that, because in general, modding is a very time-intensive, shall we say, bit of work, I guess? I was going to say hobby, but yes, working with mods obviously is going to be very time-intensive, and in general, obviously, I would say that most people obviously do it for a hobby, but some people obviously, you know, in regards to the, I guess the Britain Walder team, because they actually did get hired by Tailworlds to work on some DLC. So obviously that's pretty amazing. And otherwise, you know, the more, shall we say, established modding teams, that's the word I was looking for. The more established modding teams, you know, like Purisno and Pendor, and I'm trying to think of some other, Fantasy Calradia obviously, but Fantasy Calradia is currently obviously being developed by one guy, which is pretty amazing in itself. And I can only imagine the amount of work required to literally trawl through stacks of code and you know, try and fix bugs and things like that. And just bear in mind that I have never before you know, coded anything or modded anything or anything like that, and maybe that has to change. Maybe that has to change in the future. I think obviously maybe learning how to mod right now might be not exactly the greatest use of my time, considering I don't have that much time as it is, but it might be because, you know, obviously certain games may be coming out in the near future. We can only cross our fingers and hope, I guess, but otherwise, yeah, maybe it would be an idea. I'm going to take a look into it anyway, and who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll be able to get into it, and maybe I'll be able to bring you something that might be rather amazing. But obviously, as I say, I don't exactly know how much coding/programming experience you're really going to need as a modder, and personally I feel like you're probably going to need a lot of patience. That's probably the main thing, because I have seen, you know, in my efforts to modify the game experience, every now and again in Warband I have always trawled through, you know, a little bit of the text files and, you know, the game files in general, and you can see the enormity of code that is within it, and it's just amazing. It's really amazing, and I guess that's the reason why it's so moddable. Obviously, you probably are going to need some modding tools of some kind, and well, as I say, I really don't know that much about it, so I cannot really. Yeah, just don't quote me on that, basically. Don't quote me on anything that I'm saying regarding modding with, you know, within reason, because I don't have that much experience within it. Anyway, we are about to eliminate King Yaroglac, and you can see here that he literally only has recruits remaining. And, well, I'm not surprised, I guess, because we did outnumber him significantly, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm actually wondering when I'm going to level up next, because I think it's been a while since we've leveled up last, so it would be kind of nice for us to maybe get a bit of experience here. That's exactly why I'm attempting to, you know, kill some units as much as I can at least, and it's not actually going that badly. Bear in mind that I feel like this weapon is pretty fantastic, but it's one of those weapons that is not great when you're on a horse. So it's going to be a bit difficult with its reach. Yeah, I think we're good though. Yeah, we are obviously perfectly fine. There's only 11 units remaining, and they're still putting up a pretty decent fight. I mean, you can see here that even though they have basically insurmountable odds against them, they're still able to eliminate a couple of units here and there. And there's level 34. I was just talking about it. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, that's just really crazy. I have no idea actually how that was predicted. I didn't look and see how much experience I actually needed for the next level, so it literally just must have been... It's probably luck. It's probably luck. Let's be honest. But you know, my other self would probably say, "Oh yes, I completely estimated it." Yes. No, not at all. Anyway, there you go. That was a pretty swift victory for King Yaroglac. Actually, that's not right. It was a swift yeah. I'll let myself out. I'll let myself out. It was a swift defeat for King Yaroglac. That is just hilarious. I can't believe that was something that, yeah, good job. Good job, me. Good job, me. Alright, yeah, I'm not actually even going to be taking these things. I don't need them. Thank you very much. Alright, so there you go. So we took Slezsk Castle. Curor has somehow been taken. Let me actually just go over here and actually see what's going on with it. Because I have no idea. It can't have that big a garrison. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have a big garrison. Okay, so it only has 29. I'm actually wondering, why has no one taken that yet? Ah, Lord Uramuda? Was he the one that took it? Surely not. Well, he has 99 now, so maybe all of his units were eliminated. Who knows? I'm absolutely gobsmacked by our units, or well, should I say our vassals, being extremely proactive in regards to taking things. As I said before, they were able to take a couple of castles when I was recuperating my forces for a couple of in-game weeks, but I did not realize that they were taking that. That's pretty crazy. Okay, well, Lord Uramuda is actually coming over here to help us out, which is actually very nice of him. And I think we're going to head into Yoruma Castle in just a second. And it is a ladder castle, so we're very, very pleased to see that. And it is now time to head into the siege. Now, these guys have 43 Vajir marksmen available for battle, and let me just say, I'm not a big fan of those guys, because they have been extremely damaging to us over the last couple of sieges, and this is exactly the reason why, personally, I feel like sieges in native, especially native here, I'm talking just the base game, because in mods they've done their very, very best to make sieges a little bit more palatable, because I don't know whether you've noticed, if you've played the game yourself or if you've just, you know, learned by watching me or whoever, then the fact is that sieges in native are very clunky, I guess you could say. They're very clunky, they're very user unfriendly, because in general, if you're playing on an extremely high damage modifier, which generally I will do, then you are going to face problems like getting shot in the face multiple times. And yes, I'm not saying with this that I don't want to get shot ever, because I mean, obviously, who wants to get shot, right? No one wants to get shot. But if you just come down to it where you say to yourself, okay, I'm constantly getting shot every single time, constantly getting killed in one hit, and so on and so forth, then the siege ends. Because obviously that's how native is designed, you know? If you die, then the siege ends, and people cannot continue fighting. And that's exactly the problem. That is the main issue with Warband Native, because the sieges will turn into this. It will turn into this. It will turn into literally basically a meat grinder, because you're sending your units and throwing them against the walls, and you don't really have any other tactical or strategic options available. Whereas obviously mods, that changes it. And in mods like Gekkokujo, which I don't exactly know whether you've seen that series on my channel. I actually have multiple Gekkokujo series because I've gone through every single version from basically its inception all the way to the latest version, and highly recommend checking that out actually, because it's pretty awesome. It's based in Japan. You're basically fighting in feudal Japan, as far as I'm aware, and you know, there's samurai and ninja and all kinds of really, really cool stuff going on there. But the main thing that Gekkokujo changed, which in my opinion is one of the greatest changes I've ever seen in a mod, is to revamp how the sieges work. And the mod creator, Marty, as far as I'm aware, he's the one that was developing it at the time, and I think he was the only one developing it. But obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe other people have taken the Gekkokujo sort of name and maybe done a little bit of their own work or something like that. But anyway, the point is, they revamped it so well that you were able to head into a siege and you would move through the town. Now, I know that a couple of other mods have also done this since then, and I'm not entirely sure whether it's just because of the inspiration that Gekkokujo gave to other modding teams, or whether there was a sub-mod available or anything like that, but Gekkokujo was the first mod that I ever saw that enabled you to run through the town completely freeform. So you had to go from section to section to section through doors that were reinforced, and you know, various places where the enemy units would be holed up, and they'd be waiting for you, and you know, you'd have to be really careful about their archers shooting from their little vantage points in the keep, you know, in the main town hall basically. And yeah, it would just be a very, very dynamic, fun experience, and that's exactly the kind of thing that you can applaud modders for, because in the base game you're gonna get this kind of thing. And don't get me wrong, the sieges, when you don't die instantly, they're very enjoyable, because obviously, you know, you're participating in the fight and you're having all this kind of cool stuff happen. But those sieges, and I'm talking, I think, you know, if you've, you know, obviously played the game, or if you've just seen, you know, the various situations that I've gotten myself into, then you'll know that in some situations it can be very frustrating, because it's one of those things where if you go in and you get killed, or in the worst case, dying is not the worst thing that can happen actually in Warband Native, in my opinion. The worst thing that can happen is you have all of your units absolutely get massacred just because the enemy just has a better defense, and you can't really do much about it, and it turns into a huge slog, you know, a huge grind. And that's the main thing that I think has to be worked on in future, because right now these sieges, they're not going to hold up. They're not going to hold up. So I think what I'm actually going to do here is I might actually just jump down here, and we're going to do... I don't even... what is this? What is this that I'm actually standing on right now? Is it a roof? Because it doesn't seem like a roof to me, but oh well, never mind. Yes, anyway, the point is that in mods like Britain Mortar as well, Britain Mortar actually did give a huge basis for changing the way that people did sieges. Yeah, it is actually a roof. I thought it was just like a floating mass of snow. That's kind of weird. Okay, so I'm actually going to die here, I think. Yeah. A whole bunch of AGO marksmen actually appeared at the very end there, and you can see exactly why I'm not a big fan of the AGO marksmen. They did a good job. Yeah, so as you can see, oh wow, enemy casualties 119, so we still had another 50 to kill, and we didn't have that many units actually ready to fight. But you can see that there's only 21 marksmen remaining. However, they do have 15 knights, which is crazy in itself. But anyway, as I said, brick and mortar is also something that kind of revolutionized the way that sieges are done, and it takes a little bit more of a passive standpoint to sieges in regards to, well, should I say, in comparison to Gekkouja. Anyway, that will be it for this episode. Next time we'll take Yoruma Castle, and that will leave the Vaegirs with only 2 fiefs remaining. I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.